Halloween is just around the corner, and personally, it's my favorite time of the year. The weather's cooled down, pumpkin spice everything is everywhere, and it's a good time to watch a lot of scary movies. Every day this month I've had the goal of watching at least one scary movie, new or old, good or bad. So far I've watched a lot of new and bad. Unfortunately, a lot of new scary movies are just really bad. And that includes Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and Strays. You may think Strays is a comedy, but trust me, as someone who's watched it, it's scary just how god-awful and unfunny it is.
This could be a lot worse.
How could this get worse? Hold on, buddy! Holy
While watching it, I didn't laugh, but I was horrified. I only watched these monstrosities because they were available on Peacock, and I thought, why not?
Watch it on the cock.
But I'm not here to talk about either of those pieces of shit. I've already wasted 3 hours of my life watching those pieces of shit, and I'm not going to give them any more of my time. No, today I want to recommend some not as bad movies to watch for Halloween. Demoni and Demoni 2, or Demons and Demons 2, are some of the most gory, creepy, funny, disgusting, genuinely frightening, and epic horror movies I've seen. They're like zombie movies, but instead of people dying and resurrecting as flesh-eating zombies, people get possessed, I guess, and they become demons who go around attacking people. The demons turn other people into demons by scratching them, or they just brutally kill them in some bizarre way. They seek out to attack people, kind of like traditional zombies, but their goal is not to eat people. They mostly just fuck with people, or they fuck them up. Demoni premiered in Italy in October 1985, with the sequel coming out just 1 year later. Both films were directed by Lamberto Bava and produced by Dario Argento, who directed Suspiria and Opera, both Italian horror classics. I'm a fan of horror movies and disturbing content in general, but I haven't heard a lot of people talk about Demoni. But why not? It's balls to the wall classic Italian horror, and with Halloween coming up, I figured now is a good time to talk about these movies. I'll start by describing the plot of Demoni and briefly going over Demoni 2. There will be spoilers, so you can skip to the end of this video if you don't want a play-by-play of Demoni and Demoni 2. We'll start with the plot. Demoni, or demons, you know what, going forward I'm just gonna call it demons because I'm American and I speak English. So Demons opens up with Cheryl, our main character. She receives a complimentary ticket for an unknown film from a mysterious man in a mask in a metro station. She asks the man for another ticket for her friend Kathy, and after the two girls meet up, they decide to skip class and check out the movie.
Hey, doesn't the movie have a title? No, maybe it's a sneak preview.
Later, they show up to the Metropole, a theater that neither of them have heard of or seen before.
I've never heard of it.
Apparently, it was an old building that was recently renovated by an unknown group of people.
Looks like they spent some money on it.
How come I never noticed it?
You never notice anything, darling.
As everyone arrives to the theater, we're introduced to more characters, including George and Ken, who almost instantly become Cheryl and Kathy's dates for the film. There's also a blind man who shows up with his niece. But why would a blind person go to the movies? Well, his niece is there to narrate the film for him, but it seems like it was just an excuse so she could go to the movies to secretly make out with her boyfriend. As they're making their way into the theater, the blind man senses something evil about a mask on display in the lobby, but before he can properly warn anyone about it, another woman, Rosemary, picks up the mask and holds it over her face. After fucking around with it for a while, the mask gives Rosemary a small scratch on her face and she starts bleeding.
Hey, you cut yourself.
Oh, shit. That'll teach you to touch things.
And then everyone sits down to watch the movie. The movie within the movie begins with some people investigating a crypt searching for Nostradamus' grave.
Sure, Nostradamus.
They find the tomb they're looking for, but instead of a body, they find a book written in Latin
I can't figure it out. Yes, I can. It's written by Nostradamus.
and a mask that's identical to the one that was on display in the movie theater. After a character in the movie gets scratched by the mask after holding it over his face, the scratch on Rosemary's face starts bleeding again. The people in the movie within the movie also explain that whoever wears the mask will become a demon.
An instrument of evil.
Meanwhile, Rosemary goes to the bathroom to try to stop the bleeding, but instead her face starts pulsating and explodes with pus or demon goo or something. Rosemary's friends start wondering where she is, so one of them goes looking for her.
Maybe I should go check and see if she's okay.
When she finds Rosemary in the bathroom, she gets scratched and starts running around the theater looking for help. Eventually she falls through the movie screen and everyone in the audience gathers around her in concern. Then she starts transforming into a demon right in front of everyone. The effects are kind of hokey and sometimes they don't look real at all, but I give the effects team props for their creativity. To me, it's still more enjoyable to watch cheesy practical effects over modern CGI. If it looks like I can touch it, then it's a million times more creepy and unsettling.
What are you waiting for? Run!
So now there are 2 full-fledged demons running around, and everyone realizes that they're all trapped inside the theater.
We're trapped in here!
It turns out that while they were watching the movie, somehow a brick wall erected itself, blocking all the exits.
There has to be an explanation!
They try to find an explanation for what's going on, and eventually everyone agrees that they need to shut off the movie to stop the demons.
I don't know how to explain it. The movie's to blame for all this.
She's right.
They break into the projection room after breaking down a couple of doors,
Shit, another door! Give me a hand!
only to discover that the movie is playing automatically. They decide to destroy everything in the projection room, which shuts off the movie, but despite their efforts, it still hasn't stopped the demons or freed them from the theater.
It's not the movie. It's this theater that kills.
So, destroying the movie has done nothing, and everyone is back to panicking. As our cast of characters frantically try to find an exit, we're also introduced to a group of ne'er-do-wells who are driving around town, listening to Billy Idol, and snorting coke from a coke can. Haha, get it? Tee-hee, tee-hee, tee-hee. Eventually, this group gets stopped by the police for driving a stolen car, and as they're running from the cops, they run down an alley only to come to a dead end. A door that was previously locked suddenly opens up, and instead of being suspicious about it, they decide to go inside.
What the fuck? This way, come on!
The fact that the door magically opened up like that might be a sign that it isn't a good idea to go inside. But I guess if you're evading the police and hopped up on cocaine, you'll go anywhere you can. So now our group of punks is walking around the seemingly empty theater, and shortly after, they encounter the demons. And that's the end of those guys. When I first watched this movie, I thought these guys were gonna meet up with the movie theater people at some point and work together to defeat the demons. Nope, they just become demons themselves, although their transformations occur off screen.
It's us they want, asshole! See you in hell!
So they were kind of pointless, these guys. Well, I guess they served the purpose of getting one of the exterior doors to open up briefly so that the blind guy could escape and release the demons to the outside world. Inside the theater, more and more people get picked off, including Kathy, from whom a mini-demon emerges and scratches Ken, dooming him to shortly begin transforming into a demon himself. Not wanting to become a demon, Ken begs George to kill him with the sword that was part of the display in the theater lobby.
Let me become like them. Kill me!
George mercy kills Ken, and then out of fucking nowhere, George becomes a total badass and starts riding around the theater on the dirt bike that was also on display in the lobby. Saves Cheryl and starts cutting down the demons with the sword he used to kill Ken. It's batshit. It makes no sense, and it's epic. George, who we know nothing about, is suddenly the action hero for the remainder of the film.
My name's George.
Okay. The survivors are down to only George and Cheryl, and right after George kills all the demons, a goddamn helicopter falls through the ceiling and provides them with a way to escape. Just as George and Cheryl have finally made it to safety on the roof of the Metropole, the masked man who gave Cheryl the movie tickets suddenly appears and tries to kill George. But Cheryl's like, fuck that, and they both push the masked man's face into some rebar, and he dies. Cheryl and George then realize that the demons have invaded the rest of the town. They climb down to the street, and as they're running away from a large group of demons, they get picked up by a Jeep that's driven by a gun-toting family, which is like the best group of people you can meet in this scenario.
Welcome aboard. There are more weapons on the floor.
Now George and Cheryl are safe, and they're on their way to somewhere away from the demons. But because this is a horror movie, there needs to be one last scare. It turns out that somewhere along the way, Cheryl got demonized, and she suddenly transforms, but she instantly gets shot down by one of the kids in the car. And that's the end. Almost exactly 1 year later, Demons 2 gets released in October 1986. It's a direct sequel to Demons, but this time, instead of a movie theater, the film takes place in an apartment building. Similar to the movie that was screening at the Metropole in Demons, the catalyst for the rise of the demons is a television program that takes place during the aftermath of the demon invasion from the first film, and it's being watched by most of the tenants in the apartment building. In this movie, we also see a young Asia Argento, or Asia Argento, I don't know how to pronounce her name, daughter of producer Dario Argento. Nepotism?
Absolutely.
In Demons 2, we're also introduced to Sally, a woman who's celebrating her birthday with friends, but she's so moody that she's the only one not enjoying her own party.
Will you all get out of here, please? Get out!
Instead, she stays in her room alone to watch the demon program, and as a result of some TV demon magic, she becomes the first demon of the film. And this time, demons can turn other people into demons not only by scratching them, but by also secreting an acid-like demon blood that drips through the floors and walls of the apartment building, infecting anyone who touches it, including a kid who was left home alone and a woman's dog. Absolutely terrifying. Like in the first film, the tenants, one by one, get turned into demons in gruesome ways.
Let's get out of here! Let's get out of here!
And this time, our leading couple is a pregnant woman named Hannah and her husband, George. Yeah, they reused some character names from the first film.
My name's George.
Hannah!
George,
Hannah!
After a few nightmarish encounters with the demons, George suddenly becomes a total badass and leads Hannah to safety outside the demon-infested building. However, they're followed by Demon Sally, who gives them one last scare by running at them through a wall of TV monitors. George destroys the TVs, putting an end to the demons' terror. And it doesn't look like the demons infected anyone in the outside world this time, so the last surviving couple, along with their newborn baby, walk outside to safety. The baby's probably premature, so I hope they're going to a hospital. Hannah didn't even look that pregnant, like maybe 6 months tops. Anyway, it doesn't matter because that's the end of the film. Overall, there's not a lot that's different between Demons and Demons 2. Each film follows its own cast of characters, with some of the same actors in both films, but they play different people. Both films follow the same story beats too. A large group of people watch a film or TV program about a group of people investigating a tomb or ruins of some kind, and someone in the program unknowingly revives the curse of the demons. Then someone who is watching the movie or program in real life becomes a demon and starts attacking and infecting the other people around them. Everyone else tries to stay alive and find a way to escape the building they now find themselves trapped inside. One by one, or group by group, the survivors start getting picked off by the mischievous, bloodthirsty demons. Meanwhile, we're also following the roadway hijinks of a completely useless group of people located outside the infected building. We may think that they could possibly be the people who will eventually rescue the people trapped inside the infected building, but it never pans out that way. They either become demons themselves, or they crash their car before they ever get inside the building. Maybe they were just added to pad the runtime or build suspense. Also, one of the main guys we've been following, George, suddenly becomes a total badass and manages to make a rooftop escape with the only other survivor, his leading lady. The film then wraps up, but not without one last scare from the demons. The origin of the demons and the people who created the Metropole Theater, the movie, and the TV program are never explained in either film, but I think that's okay. The mystery adds to the terror, and the focus of these films is kept on the horrific chaos that's going on. These movies don't make a lot of logical sense, and we kind of just accept the fact that we simply don't know what's causing the characters to go through hell. It's just happening, and all they can do is keep moving forward and hope to escape. There are also a lot of questions that go unanswered too. Like, who is the guy in the mask? Who hired the theater usher? From what it looks like, she wasn't in on it. Who built the Metropole Theater, and who put up the brick wall that trapped everyone inside? Who made the television program in Demons 2? How did the demon go through the TV? What causes a mini demon to form inside and burst out of people? Who knows? I don't. Overall, these are fun movies to watch, especially if practical gore effects and creature features from the 80s are your jam. And you don't have to watch Demons 1 before watching Demons 2. Both films stand on their own without the other because the plot is pretty much the same for both. My biggest praise would probably be that the design of the demons genuinely creeped me out the first time I watched Demons. When that woman's hand came on screen and you can see the first reveal of the demon makeup, I remember how unsettling that was. Like, if I saw that in real life, I'd leave immediately. The special effects were overall pretty cool too, despite some of the props looking like ragdolls. They achieved that glowing eye effect by putting retroreflective paper over the actors' eyes. And the sound the demons make is both disturbing and hilarious. The best way I can describe it is that it sounds like the moans of a perverted man with no tongue. If I was alone at night and I heard that, I would genuinely be scared. The scene in Demons 2 where the kid gets locked out of his apartment and that demon is in the hallway, I'd be shooting bricks if I was that kid. My biggest criticism of these films would be that the ADR is a little distracting, especially if you're watching it with the English audio track, but what are you gonna do? That's just how a lot of Italian movies were being made in the 80s, I guess. Both movies were filmed in Italy and Germany, and you can tell the actors are a mix of Italian, German, and English speaking. Some of the acting also isn't the best, but I kind of forgive it because of the type of movie it is. Like, I didn't expect the performances to be great, but they're passable for a horror movie. And some of the actors are very entertaining anyway, especially the guy who played the pimp in Demons and the trainer in Demons 2.
You're all muscle and no brain, boy.
When you watch these films, you're not in it for the actors because you're too focused on the gore, the action, and the twisted, fucked up nature of the demons. How are the demons gonna kill someone next? How is anyone gonna escape? Either film you watch, it's a batshit survival horror adventure, and I love it. If you're looking for a fun, nasty monster movie to watch this Halloween, I recommend Demons and/or Demons 2. They're great to watch with a group of people, or even as something to play in the background at a Halloween party. If you live in an apartment building, I recommend putting on Demons 2 because it's more appropriate for the setting. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about these movies. I think they're underrated, not a lot of people seem to know about them, and I think they're worth checking out at least once. So that's it. Have a fun, safe, spooky Halloween. Anyway, thank you for watching, thank you for your patience. I'll see you later. Bye.
All right, that's enough. This is a respectable building. Get out.